To understand the death, you must first surrender to the life inside the box. Imagine being buried alive, not in the earth, but in a coffin made of 60 tons of composite armor and reinforced steel. Now imagine that coffin is moving at 40 miles per hour through a landscape designed specifically to kill you. This is the unvarnished reality of the tank commander. To the infantry soldier walking outside, the tank is a god of war, an invincible fortress that can crush walls and withstand explosions. But to the man inside, the reality is far more fragile and far more terrifying. Inside this steel belly, the air is not truly air. It is a toxic, heavy soup. It tastes of burnt cordite from the main gun, choking diesel fumes from the massive engine, and the sour, metallic smell of men living in absolute fear. The temperature often rises to 120 degrees, turning the interior into a furnace. It is a sensory deprivation tank where the noise is deafening, yet you can hear nothing of the world outside. The commander is the brain of this beast, but he is a brain that has been blinded. His only view of the battlefield comes through thick blocks of glass called periscopes. But glass gets scratched, it gets covered in mud, it fogs up with the heavy breath of the crew. As the minutes turn into hours, the isolation begins to twist the mind. The commander feels the walls closing in, physically pressing against his psyche. He hears the radio screaming coordinates he cannot verify. He feels the vibrations of heavy artillery, but he cannot see where they land. A primal panic begins to set in, not a fear of the enemy, but a fear of the blindness. He knows with terrifying certainty that if he cannot see the threat, he cannot fight it. And just above his head, less than an arm's reach away, is the solution, the heavy steel hatch, the gateway to the open. While the man inside fights his own machine, a ghost is waiting outside. The sniper has been lying in position for hours, perhaps days. He has become part of the landscape, woven into the grass and the dirt. He knows that he cannot destroy the tank with his rifle. His bullets, no matter how powerful, will shatter harmlessly against the composite armor plating. A tank is a beast that cannot be slain with brute force from a distance. So the sniper does not aim for the machine. He aims for the soul inside it. This technique is known in the dark circles of military history as waiting for the jack in the box. It is a grim game of patience, a test of wills. The sniper understands the psychology of the tanker better than the tanker understands himself. He knows about the suffocating heat. He knows about the terrible visibility. He knows that the human spirit rebels against being caged in the dark. So he waits. He does not watch the tracks or the gun barrel. He focuses his entire existence on that small circular lid on top of the turret. He is calculating the geometry of death. He accounts for the wind speed, the humidity, the rotation of the earth, and the movement of the vehicle. He has already pre-aimed at the empty space above the turret ring. He is not shooting at what is there. He is shooting at what will be there. It is a trap set in time, not space. He knows that sooner or later the hatch will open. It is inevitable. The commander will need to breathe. He will need to orient himself. And when that lid pops open, the sniper will have less than 3 seconds to change history. This deadly dance is not a modern invention. It is a tragedy written in blood across the history books of the 20th century. From the frozen ruins of Stalingrad to the burning sands of North Africa, the dilemma has always been exactly the same. In World War II, the tactical doctrine often demanded that commanders fight unbuttoned, meaning with their heads out of the hatch. The logic was simple and ruthless. A buttoned-up tank is a blind tank, and a blind tank is a dead tank. Commanders were taught that their eyes were the most valuable sensor on the battlefield. But this doctrine exacted a terrible price. German panzer aces and Allied crews alike learned that superior situational awareness was purchased with life. Soviet snipers, hiding in the rubble of bombed-out factories, learned quickly that they didn't need anti-tank cannons to stop a blitzkrieg. They just needed to wait for the officer to show his face. It became a statistical certainty. The life expectancy of a tank commander in urban combat was measured in minutes. The mechanics of the tragedy are brutally simple. The hatch is a heavy piece of armor designed to stop shrapnel. To open it, the commander must unlock a latch and push upwards with significant force, often standing on his seat to get leverage. As he pushes the hatch open, he exposes his head, neck, and upper chest, the most vital parts of his anatomy, before his eyes can even focus on the horizon. He rises from the safety of the armor like a target on a shooting range. He moves from being an indestructible war machine to being a soft, fragile biological organism in the span of a single heartbeat. Why do they do it? Why, knowing that a sniper could be watching from a mile away, does a highly trained soldier take such a catastrophic risk? It is the biological imperative. The human brain is not wired to exist in a dark, poisonous box while adrenaline floods the system. When a human feels threatened, the body demands sensory input. It wants to see the threat to survive it. It wants to hear the direction of the fire. It wants to smell the wind. The sensors and cameras inside the tank are technological marvels, but they lack the depth, the intuition, and the reality of the human eye. The decision to open the hatch is rarely a conscious, calculated choice. It is an act of desperation. It is the seduction of the hatch. The commander convinces himself that he will only look for a second, just one quick glance to find the enemy, call out the target, and duck back down. He bargains with fate. He tells himself that the risk of being blind is greater than the risk of the bullet. He tells himself he is faster than the sniper. But the physiological effects of the tank environment are working against him. Carbon monoxide levels dull his cognitive function. Dehydration slows his reaction time. He is exhausted, scared, and suffocated. The latch is thrown. The seal is broken. The jack begins to rise from the box. In real time, this action takes 3 seconds. 1. The hatch swings back, locking into place. 2. The commander pulls himself up, his helmet clearing the turret ring. 3. He scans the horizon. For the sniper, these 3 seconds are an eternity. They are a gift wrapped in time. He does not need to adjust his aim. He has been aiming at this empty space for an hour. The bullet he fires, likely a 5.0 caliber or a 338 Lapua, is a supersonic projectile. It travels faster than the speed of sound. This is the most merciful and terrifying aspect of the physics of this death. The bullet arrives before the sound of the gunshot. The commander never hears the rifle. He never hears the crack of doom. He is alive, looking for the enemy, breathing the air, and then, in less time than it takes for a neuron to fire in the brain, he is gone. There is no pain. There is no realization of the mistake. The lights simply go out. The universe ends for him before his ears can even register that the trigger was pulled. It is an abrupt, absolute deletion of the self. The silence that follows for the victim is absolute, but for the crew inside the tank, the horror is just beginning. The aftermath of the Jack-in-the-Box shot is catastrophic for the tank crew. The sniper has not just killed a man, he has killed the machine. A tank crew is a single symbiotic organism. The driver is the legs, the gunner is the fist, and the commander is the brain. When the brain is destroyed instantly, the body panics. The commander's body, now dead weight, collapses. He does not fall out of the tank, he falls in. He drops back down into the turret basket, crashing onto the gunner and the loader below. Inside the steel hull, the reality is gruesome. The commander's body is now an obstruction. It blocks the gunner's sights. It jams the turret mechanism. The floor becomes slippery with blood, making it impossible to move or maintain leverage. But the psychological damage is far worse. The surviving crew members are trapped in a sealed box with their fallen leader. The illusion of invincibility is shattered. They know that the armor didn't fail, but they are still vulnerable. Confusion reigns supreme. The driver screams for orders that will never come. The gunner freezes, his hands shaking on the controls. The tank, a weapon worth millions of dollars and capable of leveling cities, becomes a useless, stumbling metal box. It stops moving. It stops firing. It sits still, waiting for the anti-tank teams to finish it off. The sniper, from a mile away, watches the movement stop. He knows his work is done. He has neutralized a 60-ton giant with a $5 piece of lead. In the 21st century, the battlefield has evolved, but the trap remains. Warfare has moved into the urban canyon, cities with tall buildings, where the enemy is not just in front of you, but above you. This makes the tank commander's job even harder. To see the enemy on a rooftop, he must look up. But to look up, he must open the hatch. It is a paradox of survival. Military engineers have spent billions trying to solve the Jack-in-the-Box problem. They have built 360-degree camera systems, transparent armor, and remote-controlled machine guns. They try to turn the tank into a video game, allowing the crew to stay buried deep inside, safe and warm. But technology is fragile. Cameras break, sensors get covered in mud, batteries die. And when the screens go black, the primitive instinct returns. The soldier is left with the same choice his grandfather faced in Normandy: stay blind and die, or peek out and die. The hatch remains the threshold between two worlds. Below the rim, you are a machine. Above the rim, you are a memory. As long as there are tanks, and as long as there are men inside them who need to breathe and see, the sniper will be waiting for movement.